So, the betel nut is not actually a nut. It's the seed of the areca palm tree, which, grows pretty widely across Asia and the Pacific. People usually prepare it for chewing by wrapping thin slices of the seed in a fresh betel leaf. But here's the thing. The leaf comes from a totally different plant, the Piper betel vine. To kind of enhance the flavor and the effect, a bit of slaked lime is often added. That's basically a calcium hydroxide paste, and it helps release the active alkaloids in the nut. Sometimes folks will toss in tobacco or other spices like cardamom and cloves into the small package, which is actually called a quid. This whole preparation has been part of human culture for thousands of years, with a history that's really deeply woven into social and ceremonial life. This small green parcel is chewed by hundreds of millions of people worldwide. In fact, it's the fourth most commonly used psychoactive substance, right after nicotine, alcohol, and caffeine. The practice is especially widespread in places like India, Taiwan, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, and a bunch of other nations in Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. Chewing betel nut gives a mild feeling of euphoria and alertness. It can make you feel warm and, heighten your senses. For many, it's a daily ritual, kind of like how people in other parts of the world drink coffee to start their day or share a drink with friends after work. It acts as a social lubricant, a way to show hospitality, and it's a part of many important ceremonies. The cultural roots of betel nut are incredibly deep and varied. In a lot of societies, offering a betel quid is a sign of respect and friendship. You'll see it at weddings, funerals, and religious ceremonies. It's even used to seal business deals and welcome guests into one's home. The intricate boxes and tools used to prepare and serve betel are often beautiful works of art, passed down through generations as family heirlooms. This profound cultural integration makes it really difficult to see betel nut simply as a harmful substance. It's a part of people's identity, their history, and their social fabric, which complicates public health efforts aimed at reducing its use. Because it's so ingrained in daily life, many users don't perceive betel nut as dangerous. They see it as a natural, traditional product, something their parents and grandparents have used for their entire lives. It's sold openly in markets and by street vendors, often right next to fruits, vegetables, and snacks. The sight of people with teeth stained red from chewing is common in many regions, a visual testament to its widespread acceptance. This normalization creates a significant barrier to understanding its true health consequences. The habit is passed down from one generation to the next, not as a warning, but as a cherished tradition and a normal part of everyday existence. While it may be a cultural staple, the betel nut is actually a certified carcinogen. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is a part of the World Health Organization, classifies it as a Group 1 carcinogen. That puts it in the same category as asbestos, plutonium, and tobacco. The link between chewing betel nut and oral cancer is, undeniable and scientifically proven. The chemicals in the nut, especially when combined with slaked lime, cause constant irritation and damage to the tissues inside the mouth. Over time, this damage can lead to the development of malignant tumors on the tongue, gums, and cheeks. The rates of oral cancer in countries with high betel nut consumption are honestly staggering. But the health problems don't stop at oral cancer. Chewing betel nut is also a primary cause of a condition called oral submucous fibrosis. This is a debilitating and irreversible disease that causes the tissues in the mouth to become stiff and scarred. People with this condition find it increasingly difficult to open their mouths, speak, or eat. Just imagine not being able to enjoy a meal or even smile properly. This condition is a precursor to cancer, meaning that many who develop it will eventually face a cancer diagnosis. Betel nut use also leads to severe gum disease, tooth decay, and the characteristic red or black staining of the teeth and gums. Beyond the mouth, the effects of betel nut spread throughout the body. The substances chewed are swallowed, introducing harmful chemicals into the digestive system. This has been linked to an increased risk of cancers of the esophagus and stomach. Furthermore, research has shown a clear connection between betel nut use and a range of metabolic issues. Regular chewers have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and cardiovascular disease. The mild stimulant effect that users enjoy comes at a very high price, putting immense strain on the heart and the body's ability to regulate blood sugar. Many people who chew betel nut also add tobacco to their quid. This combination is particularly deadly. It dramatically increases the risk of developing cancer and other health problems. The addictive properties of nicotine from the tobacco make the habit even harder to quit. The user is then battling two powerful addictions at once. The health impact is not just a sum of the two parts, it's a synergistic effect, meaning the combined danger is far greater than using either substance alone. This dangerous mix is common in many parts of South Asia, creating a public health nightmare that is responsible for countless preventable deaths and immense suffering. One of the most alarming aspects of the betel nut crisis is its growing appeal to children and teenagers. The industry has, really learned from the playbook of big tobacco. To attract younger customers, manufacturers are producing sweetened and flavored betel nut products. These are often sold in small, colorful packets that look just like candy. They come in flavors like mint, fruit, and chocolate, which effectively mask the naturally bitter taste of the raw areca nut. These products are cheap, readily available, and specifically designed to appeal to a young, inexperienced palate. The packaging is bright and modern, making it seem like a harmless treat rather than a dangerous substance. These products are often sold near schools, in small shops, and by street vendors where children can easily buy them. There's often little to no enforcement of age restrictions, assuming any even exist. A child can use their pocket money to buy a few packets of flavored betel nut, just as they would buy a piece of gum or a sweet. This early exposure is the first step toward a lifelong addiction. Because the products are presented as fun and harmless, children and their parents may not be aware of the severe health risks they carry. The habit starts innocently, with kids sharing the flavored packets with their friends, but it can quickly lead to daily dependent use. The marketing of these products is insidious. It bypasses the traditional cultural context of betel nut chewing and reframes it as a modern cool habit. Advertisements, where they exist, may feature young, popular celebrities, further normalizing the product for a new generation. The goal is clear: to create a new market of addicted users who will provide a steady stream of revenue for years to come. By targeting the young, the industry ensures its own survival at the expense of public health. This strategy creates a cycle of addiction that begins in childhood and often ends with a devastating health diagnosis later in life. This early initiation into betel nut use has devastating long-term consequences. The human body is particularly vulnerable during childhood and adolescence. Starting to chew betel nut at a young age means the carcinogenic chemicals have more time to inflict damage on the body's cells. This significantly increases the likelihood of developing oral cancer or oral submucous fibrosis at a much younger age. We're seeing patients in their 20s and 30s with advanced oral cancers that were once only common in older adults. This is a direct result of starting the habit in their teenage years, often with these seemingly innocent sweetened products. Despite the overwhelming evidence of its dangers, betel nut remains poorly regulated in most parts of the world. A major reason for this is its deep cultural significance. In many countries, trying to ban or heavily restrict betel nut would be seen as an attack on tradition and cultural identity. Governments are often reluctant to take strong action against something that is so woven into the social fabric. Politicians fear a public backlash from millions of users who see it as their cultural right. This cultural shield makes it incredibly difficult for public health advocates to make progress. The conversation is not just about health, it is about history, identity, and social norms. Economic factors also play a huge role in the lack of regulation. The betel nut industry is a major source of income for millions of people. This includes the farmers who grow the areca palms and betel vines, the vendors who sell the products in markets, and the larger companies that manufacture and distribute them. In many rural areas, farming areca nuts is the main livelihood for entire communities. Governments face immense pressure from these powerful agricultural and business lobbies. Implementing strong regulations could have significant economic consequences, leading to job losses and financial hardship. This economic dependence creates a powerful disincentive for governments to act decisively. Compounding the problem is a general lack of awareness, both among the public and global health organizations. Outside of the regions where it is commonly used, few people have even heard of betel nut. It does not receive the same level of attention as tobacco or alcohol. This global silence means there is little international pressure on governments to address the issue. Major global health initiatives often overlook betel nut, focusing on other more widely recognized health threats. This neglect has allowed the crisis to grow quietly, hidden in plain sight, affecting hundreds of millions of people without a corresponding global response. The legislative and regulatory frameworks that do exist are often weak, underfunded, and poorly enforced. While some countries have banned certain processed or flavored betel nut products, the raw components are almost always still legal and widely available. Laws prohibiting sales to minors are often ignored on the ground. There is a lack of political will to invest the resources needed for effective enforcement and public education campaigns. Without strong, consistent laws and a commitment to enforcing them, any efforts to control betel nut use are bound to fail. The result is a patchwork of ineffective rules that do little to protect the public, especially the most vulnerable. Addressing the betel nut crisis requires a comprehensive and determined approach. First and foremost, we need stronger regulation and policy. Governments must be brave enough to act. This includes implementing clear, evidence-based policies, such as banning the sweetened and flavored products that target children. We need mandatory health warnings on all betel nut products, similar to the graphic warnings used on cigarette packs. Enforcing age restrictions on sales is also critical. These measures, modeled on successful tobacco control strategies, can help to denormalize betel nut use and protect future generations from falling into the trap of addiction. Secondly, we urgently need more research and better data. The global health community has not invested enough in understanding the full scope of the betel nut problem. We need more studies on its health effects, the patterns of use, and the most effective interventions for cessation. Better data will help us to design more effective public health campaigns and advocate for stronger policies. We also need to develop and test cessation programs that are culturally sensitive and tailored to the needs of betel nut users. Quitting is incredibly difficult, and users need support systems that understand their unique challenges. Public education is the cornerstone of any successful public health campaign. We must raise awareness about the serious health risks of chewing betel nut. These campaigns need to be clear, consistent, and widespread. They should target all segments of the population, from school children to community elders. It is crucial to work with community leaders, healthcare providers, and educators to deliver these messages in a way that is respectful of culture but firm on the science. We must make the link between betel nut and cancer as well known as the link between smoking and lung cancer. People have a right to know that this traditional habit can have deadly consequences. Finally, this cannot be a fight waged by individual countries alone. We need a coordinated global response. International health organizations like the World Health Organization must make betel nut control a global health priority. They can provide technical support, funding, and political leverage to help countries implement effective policies. By sharing best practices and pooling resources, the global community can amplify the efforts of local advocates. The betel nut crisis is a silent epidemic that has been ignored for far too long. The time for silence is over. It is time for decisive, compassionate, and sustained action to save millions of lives.